Hello, it's Vicki LaRoe from Modern Jewelry Makers. Thank you for joining me. This is I don't know, quick of a video it's going to be, but I'm going to go through this inventory for our next estate sale drop for our members. And ideally, I would make these videos privated or unlisted on YouTube, since they are more of like a preview for our members, but that tends to make it hard for our members and customers to find the video. So it's public, which means anybody can watch it, which is totally fine. So if you're just catching on YouTube, just curious, hopefully you'll find it educational and interesting. This is just a small collection where the theme is crystals. If you've been following along with my estate sales, I am just kind of wrapping up the 2 that I've been doing all year. And so we're down to, some bits and pieces and miscellaneous groups, but I still like making these videos so I can share more information about the product, because so many of these are, 15, 20, 30 years old sometimes, and the product is not available any longer. And so I like to be able to actually share all the details around it, and I can do it easier in a video than I can in an email. I won't be discussing like when the drop is or prices. Our members will be emailed with that information. But I've already filmed this twice, and it's ran too long, so you'll please forgive me for talking fast. There's so much I want to cover, even though it doesn't look like very many things. But let's just do it. So, crystals from everywhere, right? Swarovski, Egyptian, Czech, fire polished, Chinese, Czech rondelles. We're going to cover it all. So, here's our first little collection of Egyptian crystals, right? Stunningly beautiful. These big chandelier-looking crystals, right? The same kind of crystal you build a chandelier with. Egyptians crystals have a beautiful lead content, which makes just the sparkle and fire incredibly gorgeous. And there's 3 of each style, but I'm going to sell them individually. And so that way, instead of just a lot, that way more people can get a chance, to get them. And I just want to show, quickly. Right, so when we're doing these for pendants, I love how the bevel cut is so pretty. Right, so I just made a big, loop on there so I could easily show how it was drilled and hang on to it to be able to just show it to you. However, you want to make sure when you are doing, attaching this, because the hole is front to back, a jump ring is not going to work, right? It's never going to be able to make that curve. So you want to make your own wire or even a bail, will help. This is just another shape. That big teardrop. Look, she's so pretty. Look at the fire. This is beveled on both sides, right? So completely gorgeous, right? And Egyptian crystals more durable too. Where like sometimes you find the tips of breaking off easily. It doesn't happen as easily with Egyptian ones. And this is also just a beautiful cut, a little bit smaller one. So I made a bail for this one, a little bit of a janky bail, but just to kind of show you, see how it's the straight across inside, that's how it's drilled. That's why a jump ring's never going to work, because a jump ring doesn't have a straight side. It has to be able to go through. And if you force a jump ring through, you're going to start chipping away at the crystal. And so it's better to put like a 22 gauge, wire through there and then build the loop or the bail, I think. Okay. Next, we'll go into let's do the crystal pearl. I'll talk forever about it. So I'm going to show you these pearls in a sec, but they're important. They're what started the whole idea of I should make a video about this stuff. In the early 2000s, I went to Hong Kong, and it was the first time I found these freshwater pearls that were set with Swarovski crystal, and they're so completely gorgeous. Big, beautiful, high quality freshwater pearl channel set, where they've just taken a nice little groove there and then hand set or channel set, same thing, the crystal. When I went to Tucson, like the next time, I found these. So same idea, right? Big, beautiful, almost teardrop shape, beautifully channel set, like a channel drilled perfectly deep as the crystal is, uh, high, and so it's perfectly even. Just gorgeous, right? Fantastic. And I'd bring them home and I would pair them up like this and put them on a wire so the customers didn't have to sit there and find two pearls for an earring. And even back then, I think it started out being 22, 24, then 28, dollars a piece. It's a lot of labor that goes into them, especially to make them look so beautiful. As the 2000s progressed, they became harder to find until eventually, like a lot of things in our industry, they began to be made in China, or China started making them. And like everything else, they're craptastic. So the Chinese version, instead of using a big, lovely gorgeous freshwater pearls, they use yucky ones. So see all the grooves, lines, things, right? Yuck. These are all mine too, FYI. Like, I'm just showing you my pearls. I've hung on to these all these years because I love them. But even these kind of crappy ones, I hung on to them because I wanted to show them. So yucky pearls, they just said, give us the crappy ones because we're going to stick rhinestone chain on them. So instead of the crystal being channel set, it's now a piece of rhinestone chain that's glued, and so it sticks out. You can feel that on there. Or sometimes they dig almost a tunnel and then stuff it back there, and then now there's almost a lip on them. And of course they're not evenly set around, like, yuck. So, but that's all there was, right? Until there was none. They're not made anymore, can't find them. They're very expensive to make, even if you make them crappy. So my favorite thing about estate sales is finding precious, precious, precious gems. Like these two pairs of perfectly the good ones. Of the good ones. Of the good ones. So I paired them up. There were 5 loose. I put them in pairs. These are the good ones. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I made 2 pairs. And then I left the biggest one as a single, or one that will make a beautiful pendant. Right? Lovely. So, just spectacular. So that's a very, very special thing about this collection. And even though there's only a couple of them, but again, I broke them up into like pairs and singles, so they'd be available to more people. Very exciting. We're moving on quick. There's also a collection of pave. I kind of sorted a lot of this out by how it's set, how it's made, and sometimes where. But there's, so this is by the set. Look at this beautiful pave, and then made in Italy, and with a beautiful rhodium plating. Look at how gorgeous. Look at how beautiful these are. Right, so lovely. So there's that set, and then there is a set of 3 smaller ones. Gosh, I don't want to. Right, with the channel set, with the high plate. Look at that beautiful plating. So I'm trying to get it to focus. Beautiful. Right, these are gorgeous. So they'd be beautiful spacers between beads, but I love using those, like, or doing them on like a chain, even a simple chain. You could do a couple beads in between or something, but right, so they're so simple and elegant, right? That's very Tiffany-esque. Right, and look how beautiful that is. Right, I just love it. So that's available as a set. Then I have another set of pave beads. These are royal blue. These are CZs though, right? Cubic zirconia, but gorgeous. And they're 2 sets of 4. I wish the light would show. It's so dark. I apologize. It's so dark because it's later and it gets so dark in the Northwest early now. But beautiful blue crystals. And there's 2 sets of 4. And, you know, same thing, I think. I just love them. It's just beautiful on a just simple, you know, chain, I think. I mean, I think it's just a great look. Then I also have these beauties, also pave set, but these are Swarovski, and they're beautiful. And I put everything on these little wires and made them bigger so that I could, you know, move things around. But gorgeous. I mean, just stunningly beautiful. All right, so there's that pair of Swarovski in a 5mm set. Okay. Now, we did a big Swarovski crystal collection last month or recently, but I found some more. I found cubes. And so here's several colors. I put them in groupings like we do. If there was enough, I made 2 groupings. But like if there was 6, look at those beauties in that sapphire. So there's one group of 6. The 6mm had 10, so I made 2 groups of 5. The jet had, I think, like 20, and so I made the groups of 5. And that way, more people can purchase them, right? Instead of making all of them as one lot, more people can purchase them, and it makes that lot not as expensive. And so, you know, your dollar goes further. And there's beautiful in the clear, and this is in that cantaloupe, which is very exciting. I'm going to go back to that in just a second. Well, no, let's keep going, and then I'll talk about the cubes. So those are available. That cantaloupe color, I knew it when I saw it, right? She's so pretty. It's such a pretty green. But it's one of the few color changing, you know, beads. And, you know, it's, you know, bad. Speaking of China, it's bad enough that Swarovski is not making crystals anymore, right? Because of China. And so, but then here are their color changing ones, and I think this will work. So it's a beautiful green, right? You're like, yes, it is. And now it's a beautiful gray. Look at that. She's gorgeous. But even in that gray, when I looked at it, I went, oh, I can see that flake, that little bit of that fire. Ta-da! It's like a party trick. So it's one of the few color changing colors that Swarovski used to make. And we have 3 sets of it, the 8 and then 2 of the 6. So those cubes are drilled straight through, and then sometimes cubes are drilled on the diagonal, like these rose, right? Look how gorgeous. Oh, so pretty. It's the rose, and then there's in the aquamarine. Really, really, really pretty. There's 2 sets of those, and there's a 8mm in the rose as well. And so 2 things about the cubes. Let's talk about quality for one thing, for difference. So this is just a special chance for me to show some differences in things, and this is where I get stuck in time, so I'm going to talk faster. These are Czech crystal, right? Still, there's lead, because look at the fire. There's still lead. They're Czech crystal. Beautiful AB. Here's a Swarovski in crystal. There's no AB on it. And then these are still Czech glass. No lead in glass, right? That's what makes it glass versus crystal, right? So all same shape, more or less, but there's a difference in the fire, right? So but there's also a difference in cut, right? So instead of just a straight like cube where the sides are all flat, Swarovski cubes are cut with a table on each side, like a diamond. Don't drop them. Sorry. A table, like a diamond would be, right? Table, and then it's beveled all the way to the side. So each side has a top and then beveled down, right? And so that's what helps see all that fire inside, right? There's no AB on these. They just sparkle and are gorge on their own because of the lead. Now, there is some of these in the black too. You can kind of see that. So these are available too. There's a couple in groups of 10 in the AB and the Jet. And then there's a fun little group of glass. These are all glass, check glass. And there's like 6 of each color. There's 8 colors. So this is just as one lot because it's really inexpensive, right? Because it's just glass. Those are available. Then the other thing I wanted to show about cubes, it can be tricky to use them. Sometimes, folks are, I don't know, they feel like they're tricky to use. I hear that sometimes. And so I think they're actually really easy to use. They just need spacers and caps and things like that. They're pretty easy to dress up. I think they're easier than bicones personally. But like, here's a little head pin, right? And I just used a daisy spacer on the end. And there's your cube. And there's your cap. Right? And now she's just a beautiful, little earring. As long as the cap is smaller. Now that doesn't always matter. But in a cube, I think it does. Or the same size or smaller. Right? But that's a beautiful little earring. Those little daisy spacers can be your best friend for them. Or here's just a cap that's about the same size. Look how pretty that is. Right? So that just really dresses that cube up and I think makes it really... And I could talk on that forever, which I did in other segments. That's why I had to make this shorter. So I just like to be able to share different design elements, so that you get, not just value from this, but so that you have a way to use the things. We buy them because they're so beautiful, but I want you to be able to use them as well. Yeah. Okay. So the cubes are awesome. They're a beautiful cut and fun to use. And here's your chance to get them 50% off before they are gone for good. Next, rondelles. Let's do crystal rondelles. So I tried to put these in assortments, not just by what they were, but also sometimes by how they're set. So we did the pave setting, and then on these rondelles are channel set, right? So here's a little, these are more channel set. Here's these big, I love these. I remember having these. Gorgeous, big, gorgeous. And these little like flower spacers, and these are traditional check channel set ones. So I'm going to show you some things here real quick before we do the clasps. So with that little flower cap, the one that was two-sided, right, it has the crystals in the middle and then the little like flowered cap on both sides, right? This is could be so pretty, right? I just did a little shell pearl on the bottom, and I'll do another one on top, right? That's so beautiful. It's so elegant, right? She's just gorgeous, right? So those are in a set of 4. Just think they are lovely. Whoops. And even these, even these big ones, you do need a big bead. I did a big pearl and another big pearl. Boom. It's not an earring, even though I put it on a headband. What I would do with these, personally, because there's 2 of them, you can make 2 of these types of, with the crystals, that would be pearl. But I like the pearl juxtaposition because you have a crystal in the rondelle, and so I like the pearl. But right, I would just do this on a necklace, one on each side, and then do chains or something down here. Right, it can be the whole focal of it. Or if you're going to do a lariat, these could be the bottom pieces of a lariat necklace. So there's definitely options out there. And then on the little square channel set spacers, right? I just did them with little ruby crystals in between. They're very pretty. I think this works lovely with just a little rondelle shape spacer. Very pretty. Or even if you just wanted that to be, the focal. It could be lovely. So lots of options. So that little set of rondelles has 2 8s and 4 6s. And then besides that, there are some clasps there. I'm going to grab them real quick. So let's see if I can. Here, right? Look how gorgeous. See how pretty. So there's 2 of these available. They're going to be sold individually. They're box clasp, right? So this comes right out. Beautiful. So there's 2 of those, and then there's 3 of these set. How beautiful, with this big fat crystal in there, or the stone. It's like a 5mm CZ in there. How pretty is that? These are so nice. These are really what I love about these box clasps. I remember having them. The quality is so nice when you can squeeze this and it's still hooked. It's still attached on the inside. Do you know what I mean? There's I'm trying to think of what it's called now. But it's still hooked, so you pull up the tongue, but it's still attached. See? So you've got to unhook it. So that way, if it came undone, you wouldn't lose it, right? Because it's still attached there. These are so gorgeous. So these are going to be sold individually. So there's 3 of those, which is great. And then let's talk about these prong set beads. These are so gorgeous. So these really big ones, I have them in a set of 2. Focus. So pretty. Lightweight. They're probably 6mm stone set in there. Beautiful. Then there is set here. I need more hands. So they're made, a couple of them are made a little differently. These are German and so pretty. What's lovely about these, they're prawn set, right? You can see the prawns on it, like anything would be prawn set. But there's a tube in the middle of the bead, and so it's easier to string, which is nice. And so there's that one in the kind of black metal, and there's then another set in silver. So pretty. And again, they're great for earrings. I also think they can make, a beautiful, simple necklace. I think that's lovely. Just on its own, simple, pretty. Then there's, I need more hands. So those are by the pair. And then there's a set of 3 in red and 3 in black, which is nice because you do earring and a pendant. And then in the gold as well, there's the 6mm and a 4. Or was more of a 5. It's more of a 5. It's 5 and a 7, I should say. But gorgeous in sets of 4. And Same thing, right? So just using different chains. I used a ball chain, or this is a beading chain. This is really pretty. You know, or you could float these on here. That would be really lovely. Oh, that'd be gorgeous. I should do that. Right, you would just do little crimp tubes on either side and then float one, you know, every so often, or mix it, float it with other crystal, you know, because, you know, these could be pricey, but if you mix them with just other crystal, anyway, that's how my videos get so long, because I start, or you could do this, or this, or this. Okay. Oh, doing so good. I know it's 25 minutes. You're like, you're talking forever, but this is really fast. This is good for me because we're almost done. Okay, so there's those, and then there's these the same, similar, except that I remember buying these. These are vintage German. They were vintage when I bought them. They're super vintage now. They're so gorgeous. This is how I strung them at the store, and these sets of 6s. Look at that sparkle. Brilliant. So I don't remember how old they were when I bought them, but they're so lovely. I do remember being in Rhode Island, where a lot of this, like a lot of jewelry manufacturers and companies were there, right? That was Rhode Island, is Providence, like a hub for jewelry making components, and so that's where you'll find a lot of, anyway, you find a lot of antique components coming from there, for like the, you know, definitely the 70s, and sometimes even the 50s and 60s. So anyway, that's where I got these, in this big warehouse, and they're so pretty. So we strung them in little 6s, and she still has, there's one of them that only had 4 that I just put on a wire, but the other ones were still in these little strands. They're fantastic. It's a very special, beautiful, kind of high quality opportunity. And then there's a little spattering of like some miscellaneous. Here's a Swarovski teardrop. Here's another little set of 3 teardrops. I found a little Swarovski ring. And then these are CZs. Well, it had a little pair of CZ baguettes. So of course there'll be close-up photos, you know, of these as well. But there's always a little odds and ends. Okay, now before you run, that stuff from the estate sale. I also wanted to throw in here some other crystal strands, some kind of clearance strands that I've been, you know, I make like little piles of things, and I'll put that on like on a sale eventually. So I figured since we were doing crystals, this was a good opportunity to do this. Oh, I need like a bigger board. So I've done this once before with the strands of crystals. I used to carry these all in the store. And the last time I did them on sale, what I did is did groupings that had like 2 or 3 of the same crystal, right? And then on sale. So instead, this time, for most of them, I made color stories instead. They started out as groups of 3 or 4 of the same crystal, but then I made them into color stories. Anyway, they all work out to $12 because at their, I was going to say no prices. Shh. At their half price. So here's what I mean. So I made, like, here's one beautiful color story. There's 2 of these available, and you'll be able to see the pictures online. But Vicky, I did 4 strands of, it's a beautiful color story. There's a magic green, an olive green, a honey gold, and a jonquil. It's a beautiful color story, right? And these are all Chinese. The lengths of them are anywhere between 14 and 18 inches. I can't control that. That just depends on however long it was when I bought it. They always were the same price. It doesn't matter, for the most part, how long they are. So there's 2 of those available. Then this is a lovely little gold story. I'm gonna have to find a way to hang on to the tray. That's just the gold metallic and honey. I love that honey color. I use it a lot. So it's a beautiful little, there's the honey. It's a great mix. So there's that one. And this is all there is. If there's two of them, it's on this tray already. That one, there's a mix of the red. I did a beautiful red for the holidays. It has all these different reds that look gorgeous together. This is a beautiful color. It's kind of a taupey luster, and then like an antique pink color. That they both have the warm tones, right? I have the two trays separated by their undertone. These are all the warmer hues, and I just love this together. I think these colors are breathtaking together. And this one has like an opaly gray, but it's a warmer gray with a steel instead of bright silver. So again, it's a warm undertone with the steel metal color instead of a bright silver, right? A bright silver is generally a cool tone, but the steel makes it more of a warm. Look at that, so pretty. And then the only one I did with the all same are the bicones I showed you before. It's a beautiful red luster that's like a warm burgundy red that's so beautiful. And this is the only one that has 3 strands because bicones are more expensive, but these are also 18 inches, like they're super long. Of course, I did, play with, like, look at that together. Look at that, so pretty. That color story is breathtaking together, so gorgeous. Anyway, that's a tray of the warm ones, and I'll do the silver ones really quick. Or not silver, the cool tones, sorry. So there's an aqua that has the bicones, a couple different bicones in it, and there's only one of that one. And then the other, this color story has pinks and aquas and grays. It's like a little pastel color story. I never wear them twist. I just twist them because it's easier to see the color. Very pretty. So there's 2 of that one. And then this has an amethyst, a Montana, a gray, and a black bicone in there. Alright, so she's more of a darker color story, but it's all beautiful together in the kind of cooler tones. Very pretty. And then this 6mm one is similar. One is a Montana luster, one's a hematite, one is a blue-gray, like a Wedgwood blue, opal, and one is, opaque, and the other one is a blue-gray opal. So they are, all 4 of them are different, but it's, again, a color story that works beautifully together. Okay. Half an hour. I know that was super long for video. We're not even done. I have the last tray. But there's a lot to show. And I'll say in the email for you to, put the video on while you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner or something. So these etched crystals I've had for a bit. And so I've just added them to the sale. And I put them in tins or pairs. The large ones are in pairs like this. And there's like 5 colors. These larger little etched discs with the flower are in pairs. The ovals I did in tens. Right, here's a little etched thing. And these are in tens. And then the rondelle crystals like this are also in tens. Little things like this. So they won't be on wires. I just did this so to show them easier in this video. Okay, that is everything if you're really still here. But that is what will be up on this drop. I will email members, customers when it is live. and that's what's up. And this, we'll get this out, and then we'll have other Christmas palettes to go up and other stuff. But I really wanted to get this information and wanted to make a video to share the different details about some of the things here. Look, what a mess it looks like now. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and we will talk soon. Sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Mwah! Peace.